What's poppin', my islanders? It's Sydney Island here. That's Island with the Y, not an S. And this is part 2 to Venus and Leo compatibility. And I'm going to be talking about Venus and Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. Yeah. If you want to find out the compatibility for the other signs, watch the first part of Venus and Leo compatibility. This is the second part because I didn't have enough space on my phone to film a whole long, video. I have to film half and then take it off my phone. And yeah. So also the timestamps for each zodiac sign, each Venus in the sign will be in the description box below if you want to go to, one specific sign. So yeah, let's jump right into it. So your Venus sign is, it represents how you are in love relationships. It represents who you're attracted to when it comes to romantic relationships and, how you behave in romantic relationships and what you like in romance. Venus and Leo with a Venus and Virgo, the compatibility between the two of them goes a little like this. So Venus and Virgo, they pay attention to the details. They're very analytical, and they pay very close attention to the future. They pay close attention to, practical affairs and practical matters, like business and money and career and stuff like that. But Venus and Leo, on the other hand, Venus and Leo can be a little too showy, a little too braggy and dramatic for Venus and Virgo. A Venus and Virgo kind of sees Venus and Leo's, dramatic, over the top behavior as annoying, or they can see it as overbearing. I also see Virgo and Leo. I also see Venus and Leo. I also see Venus and Virgo as not taking Venus and Leo seriously. Like, they just you just a joke. Like, all you do is joke around. Like, relationships are serious. But Venus and Leo's like, why are you taking shit so seriously? Like, it's just a relationship. Can't we just have fun? Like, isn't that what relationships all about? Fun. But Venus and Virgo, they don't get me wrong. Like, Venus and Virgo can have fun. All Virgo energy isn't just like boring, strict, cold, boot camp type energy. Like, Venus and Virgos, they want to have fun too. It's just that they want to, deal with all the practical stuff first. They want to deal with the stuff that you need to deal with first and then have fun. Whereas Venus and Leo just always wants to have fun because they're very childlike, okay? Leo rules children. In this relationship, Venus and Virgo grounds Venus and Leo. They're the voice of reason in the relationship. They'll have issues with the fact that Venus and Virgo feels that Venus and Leo is too immature. Like, just point blank. And Venus and Leo feels that Venus and Virgo was too boring. But initially, they are very attracted to each other. I've noticed that in my life, a lot of Leos and Virgos do initially have a lot of attraction to each other. Specifically, Leos being very attracted to Virgos. Well, they are very attracted to each other. But I think that Leos are attracted to the fact that Virgos are always kind of put together. And Leos like people who won't embarrass them, okay? And Virgos won't do that. Virgos are very reserved and relaxed. And so they're not going to embarrass you. And Venus and Leo, they can't handle that because they're like, my precious reputation, baby. You can't be acting crazy around me. And Venus and Virgo knows that because they respect their own reputation too. They don't want, they don't want to be around anybody who acts crazy around them either. Also, another downside to this pair is that Venus and Leo will feel kind of judged by Venus and Virgo because Virgos can be very judgmental. And if you're too much of something, Virgos will judge you. Both of these signs have high standards when it comes to romance, but Virgos can just be very critical when it comes to what they prefer in a relationship. And they can be a little bit hard to please sometimes. Let's move on to Venus in Libra. So the compatibility between Venus and Libra and Venus and Leo, there's a bit of these two people look good to the world. And these two people care about looking good to the world. And they care about their image. And they always seem to look good to people. And they're both very charming. Venus and Leo admires Venus and Libra's social ease and their grace. Venus and Libra's, they're just very graceful and they're very calm, and Venus and Leo really likes that. Venus and Leo sees Venus and Libra as so beautiful and so stunning, and they are quickly infatuated with Venus and Libra. Both of these Venus signs are romantics at heart. Venus does rule Libra, so this is a very, graceful, easy placement, for Venus to be in. And so these people in romance, they find it very easy to be in relationships, and they find it easy to compromise in relationships. And Venus and Leo loves how much Venus and Libra pays attention to them, because Venus and Libra, they're very much focused on their partner. They can be a little bit dependent sometimes because of that. But Venus and Leo really likes that Venus and Libra always gives them attention, and they're always focused on their needs, and they're always compromising and doing what they feel that Venus and Leo wants them to do. And so they can sometimes be a little bit of a people pleaser and a pushover. And this can be, this can be a problem for Venus and Libra, because Venus and Libra, they don't speak up sometimes. They do stuff for people because they're acts of service kind of people, much like Virgo, where they like to do a lot of nice things for people and they can get taken advantage of. Venus and Leo, just wanting everything to be about themselves, they may accidentally, not on purpose, because Venus and Leo people have a very big heart. They're really not trying to hurt Venus and Libra. It's just that that's just their way of being in a relationship. They just are very me focused. So they may not realize how much they're allowing themselves to use Venus and Libra. And because Venus and Libra isn't speaking up, we have this issue. So it's kind of like, it's both of y'all fault. Venus and Libra, if you would speak up, you wouldn't have this problem. So Venus and Libra may feel that the relationship is a little bit imbalanced because they feel that they're giving too much and Leo is taking too much. So the give and take balance in the relationship needs to be sorted out. Venus and Libra is very responsive and very attentive to Leo's needs. They're just a very responsive partner. They're very receptive. They're good listeners, very, very good listeners. And Leos love that because Leo want to sit and talk about themselves, and Venus and Libra is going to listen. Both of these signs crave the finer things in life. They love things that are beautiful. They're both into music and art and, decor and all things beautiful. So neither one of them would have an issue with that. They both want a nice looking house, nice clothes. They both know how to dress themselves. They both want partners that look good. Especially they want partners that look good to the rest of the world, because both of these signs can be a little bit superficial and they can be a little bit wrapped up in looks. But I see both of this pair as being proud of the other and wanting to flaunt the other because they both are very sexy. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so let's move on to Venus and Scorpio with Venus and Leo. Okay, so this is going to be a very intense pair. This pair, they're both fixed signs, okay? So they're both very stubborn, and they both can be very prideful, and they both are not willing to, be vulnerable for the other. So Scorpio is a water sign and Leo is a fire sign. As we all know, water puts fire out. So Scorpio may have a tendency to dampen Leo's shine. Okay, Leos may be like, look at me, I'm so cute, da da da, I'm the entertainer in the group, I'm this, I'm that, da 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 da, sense of humor, laughter, da da da. And Venus and Scorpio was like silently judging, a little bit like Venus and Virgo, silently judging, and they may rain on Venus and Leo's parade just because they think that it's fake, and they also can think that it's just too much, like, because Venus and Scorpio, they hate fakeness and they hate dramatic displays of affection. They just want it to be genuine, right? But little do they know, this is just how Venus and Leo is. They're not really faking that. This is just how they are. This is just how they express themselves. So these two people express themselves in love very, very differently. And both of these signs can be very possessive of the other. I think that would be one of the biggest issues, is that they both are very possessive of the other, and they both take love very seriously, and they both want a partner. Venus and Scorpio may be kind of like maybe like a rain cloud to Venus and Leo. Venus and Leo just wants the partner who can bounce that enthusiasm and that high energy off of them, but Venus and Scorpio won't really give that, like, not that a person, it also depends on your sun sign. Not that a Venus and Scorpio can't be fun and energetic and all that, but it's just that they're a little bit more grounded, and they just prefer more relaxed, chill, romantic environments, things that are more private. They prefer a private romantic setting, whereas Venus and Leo prefers, these huge displays and grand gestures and stuff like that, and that's a little bit too much for Venus and Scorpio. They need their privacy, but Venus and Leo wants to live out loud, and Venus and Scorpio is like, hell no, that is not my way of doing things. Both of these placements have very strong sexual appetite, very strong. They both want a lot of sex, and they will have a lot of sex, and they will enjoy the sex, but Venus and Scorpio might withhold sex from Venus and Leo when they bicker and when they get into arguments. They withhold as a power thing because Scorpios do have this power thing when it comes to sex. So they might withhold sex from Venus and Leo, and this will bruise Venus and Leo's ego, you know. Any Leo placement, their ego is easily bruised, okay? And because they're actually more sensitive than they lead on. And this is something that Venus and Scorpio needs to understand, is that Venus and Leo is a little bit more insecure than they may portray themselves to be. And they really do need that approval and that reassurance. This relationship can be very intense because they both are very possessive and they're both very passionate people. They're both very passionate about love. And they're both very passionate about sex too. You know, they just handle sex in different ways. Both can be very loyal in relationships, but they're also both very stubborn. And they may also bicker about money as well. They may have money issues because Venus and Leo spends too much and Venus and Scorpio ain't dealing with it. You know, there may be a lot of jealousy and resentment in this relationship from both of them. There may be a lot of arguing, a lot of conflict, but the good thing is that neither of these signs shy away from conflict. They both are ready to conquer whatever problem there is because these signs are very freaking strong. Okay, these signs are warriors. Oh my God, I got something in my eye. Both of these signs find it easy to commit. You know, they both will commit to the death. So, you know, this pair is a very long-lasting pair. They may be in relationships with each other for a very long time because neither of them are willing to let the other go. Okay, so let's move on to Venus and Sagittarius with Venus and Leo. So this is double fire. So this is going to be a very adventurous, very exciting relationship. And it's safe to say that this is going to be an unforgettable pair because they won't forget the other because they're both so fun and so energetic, and they motivate each other and they stimulate each other and they give each other the things that they crave. Both of these signs are quick to fall in love and they're both quick to get physical. Okay, so they may instantly start having sex with each other, you know, and neither one of them see it as a problem because they're both very physical. I got my notes here, so I put that Sagittarius has a wandering eye sometimes, and this may upset Venus and Leo. They may get jealous because Venus and Sagittarius is known for kind of, you know, having infidelities and cheating and stuff like that because they just want to explore. They just want to see what's out there, and they're not the sign that's quick to settle. Like, these people are probably, Venus and Sag, and just Sagittarius in general, is like slowest to settle down. They want to explore and explore and explore, and they probably won't get married until they're like in their 40s or 50s, who knows. So Sagittarius needs a lot of space and a lot of independence, and if Venus and Leo doesn't give Sagittarius that, then Sagittarius definitely will have a wandering eye and they may cheat, and that will just fuck shit up for Venus and Leo because they have this ego thing, and they're like, oh my God, you cheating on me, you know. So yeah, just this could work though. This could be a very, very unforgettable, very fun pair, and this could last just as long as, you know, Venus and Sagittarius is a more mature Venus and Sag who's ready to explore intimacy, explore the depths of intimacy. So let's move on to Venus in Capricorn. Hoping to God this camera don't cut off so I don't have to make a part 3. Venus in Capricorn is a more practical lover. They have a more practical approach to love. They're not just like, oh, I love you, I'm just gonna get you roses and flowers and everything's great. Like Venus and Leo, very dramatic displays, very childlike. Venus and Capricorn is definitely they're not all about having big displays of emotion. Capricorns are more reserved with their emotions. They really prefer not to express all this mushy gushy emotion that makes them uncomfortable. Venus and Leo is very dramatic with their emotions, and Venus and Capricorn thinks that that's impractical. They find it to be absolutely ridiculous. Like, why are you acting like that? Calm the F down. Both of these signs, they value loyalty, and they value security and love. So they do have that in common, and they will get that from each other. But they do express love very differently. Here's another money problem pair. You know, Venus and Leo has, like, they spend their money very lavishly, and not a lot of people are with that. And there are some signs who just definitely ain't with it. And Venus and Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus, all these earth signs who are very tight with their money, not okay with it. And Venus and Capricorn is not okay with it. Venus and Leo also doesn't like that. Venus and Capricorn is always focused on the future, whereas Venus and Leo was focused on the moment. But Venus and Leo brightens up Venus and Capricorn's day, you know. They both have a good sense of humor and good laughter with each other. But Capricorn can teach Leo how to be, you know, more practical, and Venus and Leo makes Capricorn feel just happy and bright, you know. And they also can make really great business partners because they both are very concerned about their career and, you know, looking good to the outside world and being successful in the outside world. So this can make a really great business pair. Okay, so Venus and Leo with Venus in Aquarius. So Venus in Aquarius and Venus in Leo, they're opposite signs. They're both fixed signs. Aquarius is an air sign. So Leo was attracted to Venus in Aquarius's unique outer space kind of vibes. So the issue in this relationship would be that Venus in Aquarius is too detached for Venus in Leo. Okay. And this frustrates you because they're not, showy with their emotions and stuff. They're very detached and distant, and they don't understand that. Like, how can you just not be, when it comes to romance, Venus and Leo was very personal and very involved and very hands-on, in the romantic relationship. Whereas Aquarius is impersonal and detached, in that sense, because Aquarius is more concerned about, handling issues in the outside world, handling, like poverty, with children and other communities. They're like dealing with stuff in outer communities, whereas Venus and Leo is dealing with stuff in the relationship. They're very involved in the relationship. But this can be a really good pair, and this could last for a while. There is a promise of, balance and a lot of good lessons between the two of those, So let's move on to the last sign, which is Venus in Pisces. God, please. Both Venus in Pisces and Venus in Leo are hopeless romantics, okay? So they may have this blissful love, but, there will be problems in the sense that Venus in Pisces is too elusive with their emotions and feelings and just in life in general. Venus in Leo is very direct, and, they express their feelings like, with all this vigor and all this passion. And Venus in Pisces, this may scare or intimidate a Pisces, and they may accuse Venus and Leo of being abusive or something like that and not understanding. But Venus and Leo feels like no, I'm not abusive, I'm just honest, I'm just passionate, you just don't get me. These two people just don't get each other. But they do have a passion for the arts and drama and music and theater and all that type of stuff. So they do have that in common, and they will have things that they can do with each other. But this pair is very, intriguing, but is also frustrating at the same time because y'all are so different. But it can work, because I'm never going to say that Venus in any sign can't work. Because with enough understanding and communication, any relationship can work. But that's all I have for you all today. I'm glad my camera didn't cut off. I have managed to, get everything out for all signs. So like, comment, share, and subscribe. I hope that you all like this video. I will be coming out with Venus and Sagittarius next, and then I will make the video for Venus and Sagittarius compatibility. So bye bye. I love y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this.